All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. I wanted to get on here live today to kind of go over some things that are happening, especially with OpenAI and ChatGPT. I feel like I've gotten so many questions, and I just have so many things to say. I'm so fired up. So we're going to spend the next few minutes kind of showing you what I've been able to do and what I've been telling our agency partners to do, and just like generally, like what can it do, right? What can it do? What can it not do? So. And you've probably been on social media just like me and saw so many people talking about ChatGPT and GPT-3 and like what are all these things. It's almost like a month ago we didn't have to worry about this, and now it's like everybody's chatting about it, right? So what is it, and what can it do for you, and how can you leverage it, positively? So OpenAI is basically a company based in San Francisco. Well-funded to build the next generation of AI, anything practically. They've spent enormous amount of money on research to build this version of this app, and it's gotten progressively better over time. When you say GPT-3, it's like an iPhone 14, right? Like the last version was GPT-2, and GPT-2 to GPT-3, it's like 10 times smarter and better. And then so they recently introduced a product that's built on the GPT-3 technology, which is called ChatGPT, which simply is a chatbot. That's all it is. And I'm going to show it to you guys really quick. I had the opportunity to show it around to a whole bunch of people. If you haven't played around with it yet, if you have, great, fantastic. Put it in the chat like what you've been able to do. I'm just like so fired up because I feel like there has not been such a huge leap of like technology, disruption, and obviously we've all seen AI copywriting, but this is way more than AI copywriting. Like I've seen AI copywriting, you've seen AI copywriting, we've all had some element of that. We saw the hype, but AI can do way more than copywriting. I just feel like copywriting is the first thing it can disrupt because the whole internet is made up of written word. So you can train AI to read all of that, understand it, fact check it, and then produce copy, right? Like language modeling. So like copywriting just becomes like the easiest thing that you could do, but it's not the end all because what this can do is way more than that. And I feel like I want to take like context that with a business, an agency, a marketing person, a copywriter, a digital marketer, a social media person. Like how do you leverage that, and are we going to get displaced, right? So long story short, if you haven't figured it out, just go ahead and click on that, try the app, put in your phone number. You'll get access to it, to something like this. What it can do is a million different things. It's like the thing that fires me up the most. It can write you code. It's the first thing. Like who needs a code writer? Well, it can write you code. It can write you a website. It can write you recipes. It can translate from one language to another for you. I'm like, geez, it can write you stories. You can ask questions, right? Like, here, I'm going to just do it real quick. This is what the interface looks like. All you literally have is a text box like Google. One of the favorite things about Google is that it's like nothing but a text box. Like, that's it. It's not complex, right? You just type in what you want, and it will do whatever you want it to do, right? So, and obviously there's conversations about bias and this and that. Like, I totally get it. I'm not here to argue what it is and accuracy of the content. I'm simply demonstrating what we all should be using it for and how we should start thinking, and how we should be leveraging to, make our jobs easier, faster, quicker, get more ideas, and so on. So I could literally say, write me interview questions to ask Barack Obama, right? Like, I was going to go and find me some questions because it knows who Barack Obama is. And if y'all didn't know, he's from Chicago, okay? And that's my hometown. So long story short, what inspired you to get into politics? And even, look at this, guys. Like, this is actually giving so much context to what I'm asking. It's not like, hey, here's some generic interview questions, if that makes sense. This is actually very, very specific to the person that I'm talking about. How do you think of your legacy? Okay, What are you currently working on to focusing on your post-presidency? In your opinion, what qualities or characteristics should a successful leader possess? These could actually come from actual interviews that people had with Obama, and the internet got it, and like now it's giving me exactly what I want. Would the future of Google look like this? Possibly, right? Like it can. Like we don't have to go through page 1, page 2, search results, go through one thing after another, and then we forget what we start searching for. Can it get easier? Can it just give you what you want and then just move on with our life? We absolutely can. So that was just an example of what it can do. But let's just think about like our day-to-day. Like we write social media content, or we write blog posts, or we're writing Facebook ad. I can actually tell it to write a Facebook ad copy for something like a small business, right? Write a Facebook ad copy for a roofing business in Orlando, Florida. Now, I didn't even tell it what company it is. I could have added it, and then it would have taken some context about that information, information that's on the internet already available for that business, and it would have taken that and incorporated it into my ad copy. Does that make sense? Write 5 headlines for hail damage for home owners in Chicago. Completely random thing. Look at that. Hail, storms, leaves. Well, that's headline. So I can actually make it like blog post title. I could have literally written like 5 headlines on write 5 blog headlines for why hail storms, which by the way, they just got a big old storm. While hail storms are bad for your roof. It's going to create blog titles for me. Does that make sense? While hails or whatever. The consequences of ignoring hail damage on your roof. You can see that? That's fear. That's cool. I like that. It's not bad. It's a good headline. Okay, so write a 1,000-word blog post about topic number 2. Okay? Actually, it was number 3. Which one was it? The consequences. That was number 3. It actually knows that I'm talking about number 3 because it just gave me number 3, and now it's going to go write me a 1,000-word blog post about number 3. Now, should I just copy and paste this and call it a blog? Probably not, because there's probably a lot of things that I could do to make this sound better. Did it help me get my task faster? Absolutely, right? Like it has helped me a ton, because I'm in this business of creating content and all of these things that we all do in marketing, and I have to leverage a copywriter, and that person has so many hours in a day, or so many hours of energy in the day, and they have to write this content, that content, this content, and by the end of the day, it could be really good, it could be really bad. Just depends on how much time they have, right? How much creativity is left. And they can take this and they can actually make it better, or just tell it to rewrite it, or paraphrase it, change it up. Anything it wants to do, it'll try to make it better for you guys. It's still creating this content. So let's just go back and say hail damage. What did I say? Hail damage. What was my question? The consequences of ignoring the hail damage. So something like that, right? I'm just going to Google this topic really quick. Let's see what comes up on Google. Obviously, there's going to be some blog posts of people talking about this. So I'm going to go how to fix it. So if I actually like this blog post, right, I'm going to copy and paste this, you guys. It's actually not that long. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to say paraphrase it. Paraphrase this. It's going to study that entire thing and rewrite me something that takes into consideration exactly what I just gave it. Does that make sense? Now, I can say expand on that. This is insane. Like, that's all I can say. Can it get better? Well, ChatGPT 3 was out, I don't know when, GPT 3 has been out for a while. maybe like a year, 2022 earlier. When ChatGPT was launched, it's more like GPT 3.5. It's not exactly 4.0. It's 3.5, right? Like they've made so much improvement to the last model to get to where we are, the way it is live right now. What would 4.0 be like? I can only imagine, because like I said, it's going to get smarter as we do, as we get, as we use this product more, as they train more information that's on the internet, right? Like everything that we've ever published on the internet, it already has it already studied or trained rather, and it's using all of that information to write like a human. It can actually connect the dots. It can actually take paragraph 3 and 4 to sound like it's going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Like I said, I think we would have to take a different role in the creative business that we've always run, because we now have to take into consideration that, like, it's cheap to create content, right? Like, this is considered content to certain people. They'll just take it and publish it and be like, oh, this is perfect, I'm ready to go. So what do? We have to be more creative. Does that make sense? Like, we can't just put out average stuff when AI can create way better for free. I mean, this is a free tool. They are not charging a subscription. They're not doing anything. So I'm going to keep going with this roofing example. I'm going to say, write 5 tweets about why you shouldn't ignore hail damage. If anybody of you guys have an industry that you want me to create, put it in the chat, right? Like, I've probably subscribed to 5 different AI tools, just because, like, I'm like a, what's the word, like, early adopter, and I just enjoy this kind of stuff. I like playing around with it, and we all know Jasper and all those tools. Veterinarian, I love that. I'm gonna do veterinarian next. We're gonna blow this thing up right now. So, like, what we had to do in the last generation, it was, oh, you want a blog post? You got to click on the blog post. Oh, do you want Facebook ad? Go and click on the Facebook ad. Oh, do you want metadata? You want title tags? Go do that. What about the headline? And I think more and more, if you have Siri enabled on your laptop, you could just talk to it. It literally can. But I think where it's going is going to be voice. Right now we're typing. It's not that hard to replace that to taking our audio in and actually giving the prompt over voice, right? Like, and then if that happens, the use cases are insane. Like, it can be on your Google. Like, you can tell Google, and then it'll just show up on your phone, right? Like, you don't have to be in front of a Chrome browser to get this information. This is like a glimpse of what is yet to come, which is what, like, really excites me. It's not what it can do right now. I just find it, like, insane how much it can do right now, and what would that future be like, right? Like, how much more smarter can this thing get? All right, veterinarian. So write a blog post explaining. Actually, I don't want to do blog posts anymore. Let's do something else. Build a website for a veterinarian. Okay, thank God for autocorrection. I got this issue yesterday. Using Bootstrap. Okay, with 5 pages. Actually, let's just do that. Build a basic website for a veterinarian using Bootstrap. Why did I give that specific instruction? Because I want you to know that it knows what Bootstrap is. It literally is going to start typing up code, and it'll say Bootstrap CSS right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's doing what an engineer would have to do for you. Now, would an engineer have to type manually all these words? No, because we all have templates. You can just download it and start working on it. But here's my title tag right there, right? And can this give you a boilerplate website? It can. But wait, Solomon, I thought this was just disrupting copywriting. It's not. It's disrupting everything, right? It's like, is the code good? Yeah, for the most part, you can copy and paste it and go HTML and load it up. It's going to work. Can it give you incorrect information, which is what everybody talks about? Of course it can. It didn't try to go put this website on the internet to make sure that it worked, right? Like that's what you and I would do. Welcome to our veterinary clinic. We're a team of experienced veterinarians dedicated to providing the best care for your pets. From routine checkups to emergency surgeries, we're here to help you with your furry friends and stay happy and healthy. Look at that. Here's your wellness exams, vaccinations, dental care, surgery, emergency care. For more information, visit ABC. Guys, like that's brilliant, right? Okay, so how about this? I don't have a name for my veterinary company. Okay, so let's type it up. Give me 5 business name for a vet. Brooke, help me out. Okay, this is the only word I did not learn how to type. I don't know why I always put Orlando, Florida. Don't get me wrong. I always enter Orlando for Orlando Pet Health Center, Orlando's Animal Wellness Clinic, Orlando, Florida Veterinary Services. Give me 5 more. Now, you know you all are going to play with this after this. Like, you know that. Right? Like, Lake Eola. Is that a lake over there? There you go. I might be by the lake, and now I got my company name. Right? Like, Orlando Pet Care Solutions sounds like something I would come up with, but because I have that marketing solutions in my head. I don't think it's a good one. But Veterinary Care Center, right? Like, there you go. So I got me a website. Hear about this. How to keep your pet safe in a hurricane. Write a 500-word blog post. I've never even thought about that. Like, I don't want my my dog or whatever pet to be scared. Look at that, evacuate if necessary. Would this blog post have been very helpful during Ian? Yeah, I think so, right? Like I could have posted that on my Instagram or my Facebook page or something like that. Obviously, like I said, I am the doctor. I should go and re-edit and change the stuff up, right? So where will we be in 6 months? I think this technology is it's gonna rapidly evolve. I don't think you need to wait a year to see where this is going to be. I think what we used to do in 6 months, it can do in 6 days. And look at this, guys. Like, it literally wrote me how many blog posts, how many business names, a web page, all that, and we've probably been live for 5 minutes, right? Like, that's what it's capable of doing, and it's for free. I think they're trying to prove a point by having something like this for free, because the whole idea behind is having AI to be accessible by every single person. It's not accessible if you have to pay $100 a month or $200 or whatever it is, right? It's not accessible if whatever, like if you don't have internet or whatever. So if you can make this accessible for every single person, and if you can create something that takes into consideration all the safeguarding of all the danger that people talk about when it comes to AI, I think you end up with a good product that obviously eventually is going to disrupt all the things that we do in marketing, because it seems to be like the easiest industry for it to exploit and just like get rid of, right? It's not the guy that's flipping the burger or the landscaper that's getting disrupted. It's going after the high IQ white collar, marketing expert, because we're the ones who can come up with strategy. So instead of billing out hours for the thing that AI can do, we now need to bill out hours for the things that AI cannot do. It still comes down to strategy. It comes down to implementing the strategy. It comes down to integrating multiple channels. It's still not going to replace all the things, all the functions a marketing person can do, but it certainly will replace you writing your own Instagram caption for every single graphic, which you used to think that it took you all this time. It's no longer going to be the thing that's going to drain your time. This is going to be not going to go away. It's actually going to get more prevalent. Like, the only companies that's ever been able to use big data and AI and all this predictive models and everything like that was Salesforce, Microsoft. Obviously, Google has AI practically in every single product. That was one of their mission for one of the years. Microsoft, right? Like, all these big companies use it. Facebook, we all know that. YouTube's built with AI and all the recommendation engines and things like that. So, like, it's now accessible for all of us. And OpenAI was just showing you what it can do with this little bot. So over 1 million people used it in like a week. But what they really want you and I to do is build businesses on top of this technology using their API, right? Like you can build a healthcare vertical business that's written on top, because no one's going to go through the pain of training with all the millions of hours and time and energy and computing power that they put into to go do what they did. But what they can do is give you access to all of these models, and you and I can build businesses that are on top of it. Like, for instance, let's just say that you're in the business of getting new clients and you use cold emails to outreach businesses. So I could literally say, write me a cold email outreach to warm up my prospect who came to my webinar last week. I'm actually typing like really poorly to show you how well it can understand everything I'm saying. My service is SEO and paid media. Right? That's what it's doing. Look at that. Follow up on the webinar we had last week. I hope you found it as a reminder. My company does yada yada yada. Would I send that? Probably not. But do I have something to get started and actually start tweaking? I will put some points that I discussed and I say, hey, I want to make sure you understand, because these are critical, whatever. Look, okay, let me give you an example. Write another email explaining why it is urgent to start working on SEO, as it takes time. It is not something that we should wait any longer, right? Like something, I want to call that silly like that. Now it's, write me exactly, reach out, follow up on the webinar. Still remembers that I'm talking about webinar, because the other apps that I've used, it forgot. I'm like, huh, what? There's no context. I had to literally say all the things I did last time. Again, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And that's not smart AI, right? Like this is still on that same context. So if I go back and talk about veterinarian, it remembers everything I just left off about Orlando and the website and everything else. So here we go. In addition, SEO is an ongoing process, not something you can set and forget to keep your website ranking. So where's my urgency? Talked about urgency. SEO is a long-term start. It takes time to show results. While you may see initial improvements fairly quickly, it could take months if not years, right? That's why it's so important to start working on SEO as soon as possible. Will I use that? Yes, I will use that. That's exactly what I would have typed anyway. Maybe I'll tweak it a little bit. Is 70% of this usable? Absolutely. Okay, how about this? Create a spreadsheet. Showing the differences between SEO, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, YouTube ads, and what else? What other ads? Google ads. Okay. Well, I would have to. I would have to copy and paste that and put it into Google. I wish they had that button. Click add to Google Doc, right? Google needs to get me some, I don't know, Chrome extension or something like that to make this to the Google Drive of your choice. You're already logging in with Google. So it'll be probably the next version where we can have this, because I do not want to copy and paste all this into it. So let's just see how intelligent this thing is. SEO, process of optimizing a website, rank higher. Facebook ads, advertising platform allows you to do it. TikTok, okay, YouTube, Google ads. It could be free. Price vary based on the ad format. Prices based on the ad format. Okay, audiences, people are active on Facebook. Okay, ad format, image, carousel ad, video, video ads, display. Which one doesn't necessarily have TikTok? What did it say about TikTok? Image ads. So I don't know if it can do image ads, but is that accurate, inaccurate? Guess what? It's pretty darn good for starters. Will I want to make this better? I absolutely can. Does that make sense? Can you tell it to add specific prices for Facebook, for instance? It can. what, I don't know if it has any data on cost per click. Like, I wish it did. I mean, it literally, if it had data on keyword volume, it would be insane, right? Like, what are the top software to build a website that loads fast? I am literally asking anything that comes to my mind. This is what Google is looking for, right? Google is looking for, please contact us through Help Center. Let's create a new one. Top website design tools using drag and drop. Yeah, I don't know, maybe my internet went out. Okay? I didn't break it. It'll be working again, right? But it's insane what it can do. I mean, guys, like I hope you guys connected the dots. That yes, it has limitations. It has inaccuracies. Like, forget that aside. It has bias. You heard enough about it. Can it be dangerous to all of this? Yes, it can, because there is something called super intelligent that can be smarter than us, all of us. But for our purposes, this is like a sidekick to me, right? Like, instead of me having to tell somebody to do something on Slack or on Microsoft Teams or whatever, to go look up a topic, give me a research. There's literally people hired to do research. And what do? They go through internet, they do keyword research, they come up with all this stuff. And it can actually make my life easier, is what I'm saying. I see like a million different ways to do it. I'm probably going to create more content around how to actually utilize this to save us time, which is that's the best thing I could think of. How do you save time? How do you get back your time? Right? Like, how can it actually, like, what our team is doing right now is trying to figure out how to get that API to do more things, because beyond like what you can do manually, when you start talking to the app directly and you just pay pennies and pennies and pennies to do things for you, it can make an entire company way more efficient. If it can make our company efficient in 5%, I think those are the kind of use cases that people are going to be playing with. When the small businesses, right, like when the average Joe, when Main Street gets involved and starts creating their own social media content or start creating their own things, we as marketing people have to realize that's not if, it's when. So we need to start thinking about, how do we add strategy? How do we add reporting and analysis and all the things that they can do right now, right? How do we do that so we can build integrated marketing strategies? How do we help them execute the Facebook ad? Because guess what? It can only write me an ad copy right now, right? Like, the days are coming where it can write the ad copy and launch and deploy and everything else too. But what about being the thing that you cannot replace right now, right? Like, that's what I want us to think about. Can you build a whole entire business off of this API? You can. You certainly can. People have done it already. And they make it even easier, because this ChatGPT is just to show you what it can do. It's not really the whole thing. Does that make sense? Like, it's like, here's a piece of, like, check this out. Like, what do you think? Tell me what you think. They literally just put out something to kind of give us where it's headed and what it can do, and also to show you how smart it can be, right? Like, all this time, I've been kind of like, definitely great, like, improvement in content creation and all of that. However, I've not seen this level of sophistication. I've not seen this level of, like, going and finding the data that I would have had to spend on Google. I literally want to go here for fact check. You know what I mean? So let me just show you what I can do. If I'm writing a very important email, and I want to copy this, I'm going to paste it, proofread. I'm just going to tell it to proofread. Okay? It's proofreading, and it's going to tell me all the things that is wrong with it. And look, I'm sure they read their copy before they put it on the website. But we all forget to proofread. I guess we don't have to proofread if it's not, written by us, right? AI doesn't make any mistake. So it can proofread. It can tell you what it needs to be changed. If I did make a lot of mistakes, it would say, hey, I added this or that or something else. That's where I think it's going to save us time. Adding this level of like tech, if I may, it will simplify things. You can have it automatically proofread your content. You can actually check for maybe you create a process for checking for original content. Maybe you use this to come up with ideas before you start executing. Use cases are endless. Can it actually perform? Like the way I look at it is, can it do what a VA could have done for me? And the answer is yes. Because the stuff that I would get from a VA or someone I would get from a brand new newbie green marketing person after they learned how to use Google, this is way better and faster and more efficient because it'll take me the same amount of time to do it. Me telling them and getting it done, it happens literally instantaneously. What I would much rather do is teach my VAs and everybody else that I would work with to use this so that they can get me better output in the same amount of time. Does that make sense? And so I've gotten a lot of requests. If you guys have any questions, like put it in the comment for this. This is literally, like I said, it's just the beginning of something greater that I'm so excited about. So if you guys got a question, put it in the chat. I'm probably going to be doing more sessions, more videos, so that, hey, we can all get better at marketing. We can all get better at the thing that we do. We don't have to be, relying on maybe the AI is there, but like the outdated stuff, right? Like there needs to be something like this that's going to go to the moon. Like I could see this company being that one. However, what I still want to tell you to do is like figure out how to get their API and start implementing it into your business, whether it's the sales email, whether it's copywriting, whether it's headline, whether it's doing things to help your customers get results faster. I think that's where really everything really begins. So thank you guys, and I will catch you next time.